Okay.
Okay.
Now we go to Krishna book. Which is the chapter today to read?
I don't know. I missed a few classes, Prabhu. How much further should I bring my book?
No, I know. This is chapter 39.
Okay. Okay.
Here it is. Now you will not see me. You will see the book.
Okay.
So you can either hear Shabda or video. What is more important? Shabda.
Shabda.
So you don't have both the options. I can create an option actually, but then one more window, I'll take it away. I can be on another window. But let it be like this. This is better. Okay? So it has an opportunity.
Okay.
Nupur Mataji, you are there, so I have no problem of reading. Okay? This is fine, no? We finished the 38th chapter last time. Akrura takes, correct? He takes Krishna to Mathura. Okay? Now on the way, now what has happened? Why the prayers are offered? When he's offering prayer on the way. Somewhere they went for doing some bath, correct? And Akrura, Krishna Balaram took bath and Akrura went to take bath and he saw the Lord lying in Anantashesha, the water. Then he came back, he saw those sitting on the chariot. He went back to water, he could see the Krishna Balarama there in the form of Anantashesha and the Lord lying on it, the Narayana feature. So we discussed why the Lord does it, and one of the main reason is that Krishna is assuring Akrura, no need to worry. We are going to Mathura, but I am the Narayana himself. Nobody can touch me. Is it? Because Krishna in his 200 form looks like almost like an ordinary human being. When he takes 400 form with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, his powers are manifest. Correct? So Krishna took that form to assure Akrura there's nothing to worry. It's all. This will take. So Akrura has no guilt now. He is fully at peaceful. So Krishna doesn't like to give his devotees some anxiety. Maybe some anxiety that maybe some harm may come to my Lord and I'm doing some inauspicious things. So Krishna, no. I'm coming with my sweet will. And then we had in the last time anybody remembers what are the other points of the last class? Yes, Nupur Mataji, good at revising. Yeah.
The other point is that it is also shown by him doing this. It's also shown that he never leaves Vrindavan. He's always in Vrindavan.
Okay, that is another point. But what are the other point of the chapter last time? What are the main touching feature of the chapter?
Oh, the Vishnu darshan.
Yeah,
and the gopis.
Yes, the gopis' pain. The gopis' pain.
Emotions.
Correct. Gopis felt acute, intense separation when Krishna went to left Vrindavan. That is actually the chapter, and that shows the intense love they have for Krishna. We discussed this. Everything was there. Everything was there. Okay? But what was missing was Krishna for them. They had children at their home, but they were missing Krishna. Okay? So that is what that is. Okay. So people are going in and out because of their video link. Nidhi is going in and out. Shruti, they're also going in and out. That will be their part of it. Okay. Chalo Nupur Mataji, start. We start reading and waiting for other people to join. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Chapter 39, Prayers by Akrura. Akrura offered his prayers as follows. My dear Lord, I here pay my...
Just wait, huh? Some people want the video link. Yeah, continue. I'll give you the space now. My dear Lord, I here pay my... Yes, respectful
obeisances unto you, because you are the supreme cause of all causes and the original inexhaustible personality Narayan. From your navel a lotus flower grows, and from that lotus Brahma, the creator of this universe, is born. Since Brahma is the cause of this universe, you are the causes of all causes. All the elements of this cosmic manifestation, earth, water, fire, air, ether, ego, and the total material energy, as well as the nature, the marginal energy, the living entities, senses, the sense objects, and the demigods who control the affairs of the cosmos are all produced from your body. You are the supersoul of everything, but no one knows your transcendental form. Everyone within this material world is influenced by the modes of material nature. Demigods like Lord Brahma, being covered by the influence of material nature, do not exactly know your transcendental existence beyond the cosmic manifestation of the three modes of material nature. Great sages and mystics worship you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of all living entities, all cosmic manifestation, and all demigods. They worship you as all inclusive. Some of the learned Brahmanas also worship you by observing the ritualistic ceremony of the Rigveda. They offer the different kinds of sacrifices in the names of different gods. And there are others who are fond of worshipping transcendental knowledge. They are very peaceful and wish to give up all kinds of material activities. They engage themselves in the philosophical search for you, known as Jnana Yoga.
Okay, now this much we understand. That does not go very fast. Okay, here we are. So after Krishna showed the beautiful form in the water, you understand, Krishna Balaram took their bath, went to the chariot and sat down. And when Akrura, who was carrying them from Vrindavan to Mathura, okay, for some people who are new today, there is, those new today, the basic point is that Kamsa sent Akrura. Narada informed Kamsa that actually the eighth child which was to kill you is Krishna. And Vasudeva cheated you. He did not give you that child. Okay, so you take action. And that's Narada's transcendental plan because he wanted to finish the pastime of Kamsa quickly. And then Kamsa came to know he sent Akrura, who was known to him, who can approach and convince Krishna Balaram to come to Mathura, and where he arranged a big wrestling match. Just like nowadays also we have Kushti, they also arrange a big wrestling match. And those people who were there in the wrestling match was very powerful people. And they were very powerful people. Okay, so they were very, very powerful people. And Akrura, anyway, came and he had arranged some very powerful, even elephant, who will crush Krishna when he enters Mathura before the the wrestling arena itself he cannot enter. And if he escapes that, Charana, Mushtika, some powerful wrestlers will kill Krishna. That was his plan. And Akrura comes, and Akrura is a great devotee, and Akrura comes with a great devotion. In fact, we read last time how he approached Vrindavan with so much love and devotion, with so much respect for the Lord. And when he saw even the footprints of Krishna in Vrindavan, because Krishna's footprints are special, they are marks on Krishna's lotus feet. When he saw the footprints, he immediately surrendered. Okay? And then next what happens was the people for whom I did some very invisible now. Some new people had come. Anyway, we try our best. So then Akrura then enters inside Vrindavan, and he offers beautiful prayers to Krishna, and he says the footprint, and he gets darshan of Krishna. And then he again offer prayers, and Krishna Balaram very happy, and they bless him, and they agree to come with him. And that's what happens next. They agree, and all are coming to the sea. Okay. So this is the prayer started. Now Akrura, when he was coming back on the way, he took bath in a river. First Krishna Balaram took bath, then he went to take bath. He saw Krishna Balaram as Narayana and Ananta Shesha. So when he saw that, he was totally struck with wonder. Get by the chariot, he saw Krishna Balaram still sitting. He understood that there is something bewildering. And basically we discussed it to reassure him that don't worry, there is nothing inauspicious which can happen. We are the Supreme Personalities. Then Akrura, having seen the beautiful form of the Lord, is offering his prayers. The prayers we are discussing. Now let us see what are the main points in that prayer. Okay. The supreme cause of all causes, the original inexhaustible personality, Narayana. From your navel, a lotus flower grows, and from the lotus, Brahma, the creator of the universe, is born. Okay? So many people have an idea Brahma is the origin. He is not. Even Brahma is created. Okay? We should be clear. And then next, Brahma is you are the cause of all causes. All the elements of cosmic manifestation, everything is even demigod, everything is produced from the Lord. All material elements, including the Devatas, everything created by the Lord. That's why in the Vishwarupa, Krishna shows everything. All the energies, including the Devatas. Okay. Welcome, Nidhi. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Nidhi. One more time, welcome. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. I know some difficulty will be there, but don't worry, internet speed is increasing every day. These difficulties will reduce over time. Everyone with the metal body is influenced by the modes of material nature. And if you miss something, don't worry, it is recorded. You can always watch it on my YouTube channel. So Brahma do not exactly, so even Devatas cannot understand the Lord. Okay, we should know what is our position. Okay, being covered by influence of material nature, do not exactly know your transcendental existence. Okay? They worship with all inclusive. Some of the learned Brahmanas worship you by observing the ritualistic segment of the Rig Veda. They offer different kind of sacrifice in the names of different gods. Others who also fond of worshipping transcendental knowledge. Okay? They engage themselves. There's the karma yogis, jnana yogis, different descriptions are there. They all cannot be the Supreme Lord. But they are devotees to worship Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Pancharatra. Hey, how much you have read? You read this?
Prabhuji, till the
Lord
known as
Shiva?
Jnana Yoga.
Okay, okay, this is okay, this is understood. Some people are karma yogis. Karma yogis is basically who are after sense gratification, but they connect themselves to the Lord by devotion service. The jnana yogis are better, and they do some austerities. They are jnana yogis. They engage themselves in philosophical search for you. They're very peaceful and give up all kind of material activities. But they do not take to devotion service. Because they do not take to devotion service, they are called Jnana Yogi. Some link is there because they are trying to understand you. So there is a link, Jnana Yogi. Okay, yeah, Mataji, you continue.
There are devotees, also known as Bhagavatas, who worship you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After being properly initiated in the method of Panchachatra,
Yeah.
they decorate their bodies with tilak and engage in worshipping your different forms of Vishnu Murti. There are others also known as Shaivites, followers of different acharyas who worship you in the form of Lord Shiva.
Okay, so indirectly
It
they worship. Just understand the main point is Pancharatra means there are rules and regulations. In temple you worship the Lord. That is the devotee. Okay? Continue. In the Bhagavad Gita.
is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that worship of the demigods is also indirectly worship of the Supreme Lord. But such worship is not orthodox because the worshipable Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana. Demigods such as Brahma and Shiva are incarnations of the material qualities, which are also emanations from the body of Narayan. Actually, there is no one existing before the creation except Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The worship of a demigod is not on the level with the worship of Narayan.
Okay, this is fine. The worship of the demigod is not on the level of worship of the Narayana. But this is not generally known as a society. Okay? Okay? But highest is to directly worship the Supreme Lord. That is most intelligent. Okay. Okay, Akrura said. Okay, this is fine till now. He's offering prayers. I think prayers till now we are easily able to understand. As the highest worship is worship of the Supreme Lord. Any questions by anybody? Akash, Durgesh, Nidhi, Prem. Yes, Mataji, Murti Mataji, any questions? Things are clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Everything is clear? Any questions?
No, Prabhu, everything is clear.
Yeah, chalo. Yes, Nupur Mataji, continue. There are devotees. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, sorry. You want me to continue?
Continue.
Yeah, I read that one. You want me to read it
Okay,
again?
continue. Next one.
It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that Wait, worship
What?
of the demigods is also indirectly worship of the Supreme Lord. But such worship is not orthodox because the worshipable Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. Demigods such as Brahma and Shiva are incarnations of the material qualities because which are also emanations from the body of Narayana. Actually, there is no one existing before the creation except Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The worship of a demigod is not on level with the worship of Narayan. Akrura said, although the minds of those who are devotees of the demigods are fixed on a particular demigod, because you are the super soul of all living entities, including the demigods, worship of demigods indirectly goes to you. Sometimes, after flowing down from the mountains during the rainy season, small rivers fail to reach the sea. Some reach the sea and some do not. Similarly, the worshippers of the demigods may or may not reach you. There is no guarantee. Their success depends on
Strength of their.
the strength of their worship.
Just let me understand this.
Hmm.
Okay, but worship is not because worshipable Lord is Narayana. Demigod Brahma show incarnation, material quality, which are emanation. Actually, there is no one existing before. So, okay, this is all the mind of devotees is fixed on a particular demigod because demigod worship indirectly. Sometimes water from a mountain releases a small rivers will release somebody else. Demigod may not reach you. There is no guarantee. The success depends on the strength of their worship. We understood this point. This is the explanation being given elaborately. That actually when you're worshipping a devata, always should be worshipped as the servant of the Lord. Okay? You understand? If you're worshipping him independent, then what is the benefit? That you're learning to at least bow down. Why the Devi Devata worship is there? At least a person knows to bow down. Because biggest problem is we cannot bow down. It's a very big problem. It's very difficult to bow down to anybody. We think I'm the hero. Okay, so in a Devata worship, what happens? It's fact. Devatas do exist. It is not a myth. Devatas do exist. They have their own place also. When you worship Indra, we worship Varuna, you worship Ganesha. They have their place, Durga. And when you worship them, you do get material facilities. Okay? And by bowing down to them, gradually, one day you learn to bow down to the Supreme Lord. Okay? So in that way, Devata worship is there. But at the same time, it is said it's not guaranteed. Somebody just sticks to Devata worship may not come to the worship of the Supreme Lord, correct? The success more or less depends on the strength of their worship. If just like mostly many people, they do Devi Devata Puja, which they come to serve the Supreme Lord. They don't agree. Why? You believe in this God, I believe in that God. They will not be interested. So what do we do? It's so difficult. Okay, so what way we can understand is that actually, if you're intelligent, we should directly worship the Supreme Lord. But we see in the society, so many people are worshipping devatas. If they're sincerely worshipping devatas, one day they will come to worship of Vishnu. That's the point. Correct? It says similarly, worship of devatas. This example is given. The flowing from the mountain, rainy season, small rivers sometimes may fail to reach the sea. It is possible. It may get the water may evaporate on the way itself or may get consumed. Nowadays, so many dams, they'll stop the whole water. It may not reach. So similarly, worship of the devatas may not finally reach to the worship of the Supreme Lord. Okay? Continue.
Akrura continued to pray. Oh no, I'm sorry. According to Vedic principle, when a worshipper worships a particular demigod, he also conducts some ritual for Narayan. Yagneshwara, for it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that demigods cannot fulfill the desires of their worshippers without the sanction of Narayan or Krishna. The exact words used in the Bhagavad Gita are Mayavya Vihitan Hitan, which means that demigods can award some benediction after being authorized by the Supreme Lord. When the demigod worshipper comes to his senses, he can reason as follows. The demigod can offer benediction only after being empowered by the Supreme Lord. So why not worship the Supreme Lord directly? Worshippers of the demigods may come to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but others who take the demigod as all in all cannot reach the ultimate goal.
Okay, now this is understood.
Akrura,
Yagneshwara, wait. See, the Shaligram Shila is always there in the Devata Puja is done. Actually, properly, when Devata is worshipped, he worshipped as the servant of Yagneshwara. Can you see this? Yagneshwara is always Shaligram in the temple. You see, in South India, we have all the Devi Devata temples. Murti Mataji will tell you, guarantee you, Shaligram is always there. Okay?
Yes,
His
Prabhu.
worship, he always worships servant of the Lord. And he can then give some benediction to you. Okay? And why? Because Devata has no power to give any benediction. Suppose you ask Devata, give me a new car. You'll ask Krishna there, can I do it? He says, okay, give. He gives. He cannot give on his own. He has to ask. He has to take the file for signature of Vishnu. But when you go indirectly, what is the problem? There is no protection. Suppose that car is going to, make you crazy and you will start drinking, womanizing, and destroy your life. The Devata will not see all that. But if you ask Vishnu, well, Vishnu you don't have to ask because he already knows. You don't have to ask him. He knows. But even anyway, you go and ask, you can ask, no problem. He may not give you if you are going to spoil yourself by that. Okay? Just like most of the students today ask parents, Papa, give a laptop. Why? No, Papa, I want to study. But actually, honestly speaking, we know what studies happen. After that, studies stop. What is little happening, that also stops. He only plays game, watches movies, and does whatever. Or Facebook. He doesn't do anything with that. So the father has an interest in his mind. He may not give it, even if it is, he may be demanding because he knows he's been irresponsible before and he may do again. He's very worried. But the Devatas act like uncles, Many times I've seen many people where their father doesn't give anything. They go to the uncles. Somebody wanted jeans, some girl. The father was not giving because many parents in India don't like girls to wear jeans. So some uncle landed, get me a new jeans. No, and got uncle is not bothered so much in the interest of the child, but the father is, maybe very, very too much. He may be interested. Okay, I'm just giving you a point. I don't take. Can offer benediction after being empowered. So why not worship Supreme Lord directly? So why, or when Devata himself is taking file to another room, you say go for some license. Okay, and you see the man whom you requested, he gets up, goes to another chamber and takes a signature. If you see that person's room is open and written outside, all are welcome. Why not go directly? Why have to? Prabhupada says Devata worship, therefore, is like bribing a clerk. What is it? Bribing a clerk. So nicely Prabhupada explained another place. It's not needed. It's avidhi. It's the wrong way. Why don't you go directly? Why you're flattering a clerk? He has no powers. He has to take the file to the main chamber to get signature. So why don't you go to him directly? Why you have to do like this? And rather Krishna becomes irritated when you come like this, and actually you don't get the protection. Krishna may give you when it is not good for you. Just like you see Ravana, he went to whom? Shiva for benediction. He got benediction which harmed him. And Hiranyakashipu got benediction of Brahma which harmed him, because Devatas are not sanctioning. They have to take the file to Krishna. Krishna, can I give? Okay, give. Krishna said, give. There is no protection there. So therefore it is intelligent to go directly to the Supreme Lord. Okay. Okay, is it fine? Murti Mataji, any questions? Prem, Nidhi?
Prabhu?
I just want to ask you one thing, Prabhu.
Yes,
In every demigod temple, there is a saligram. But what about in the community puja, like the Bengalis, they conduct Durga Puja. I don't think they keep any shaligram over there.
That's okay. That's just in a festival sometime, no? But not regular deity worship in a temple will always have Yagneshwara. Correct?
Okay.
That's just like an event. We take out some deities, no? We Rath Yatra, we take out some deities. That's Utsava comes out. Take it.
Okay.
But technically, no Devata can directly give anything, because Krishna says, Maye Vihitam Etan. Krishna says, I have to give the permission. Correct? Okay. So they have to take, everybody has to take permission of Krishna.
Okay.
Chalo, is it fine? Yes. Nupur Mataji, any question? The question is, things are clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Prem, you had something to say?
Prabhu?
Yeah.
What is difference between Krishna and Vishnu?
I'm not able to hear. Difference between?
Krishna and Vishnu.
The same. It's the same personality. It's like when you have different moods. Different moods. You understand? Just like when you are angry, you have the same form. But Krishna is Narsimha form, another form. So Krishna can have different moods, different forms. But Krishna form is considered principal, the sweetest form.
Vishnu is the avatar of Krishna.
Okay. Don't worry, we will take a lot of time to. These are very basic things. It will take time to understand. For now, you understand this much, that Vishnu Krishna is same personality. Okay? From a candle, if you like another candle, all candles are of the equal power. Okay? So Vishnu is incarnation of Krishna, Krishna is incarnation of Vishnu. I'll tell later. But is this clear? This much now?
Okay.
Because otherwise, if I start it on, this chapter will go then. So I'm just seeing the main chapter is not gone. Okay? We continue the point. This I'll explain. What you do any day, you can call me. I'll explain to you this. Okay? Okay, Prem? Is it fine?
Okay,
But
bro.
now, in brief, I'm telling you, both are same personalities. But Krishna allows you a lot of intimacy. Mother Yashoda chases Krishna, Radharani, all they make fun of Krishna. Correct? Krishna allows all that sweetness. But with Vishnu, like Tirupati Balaji, you have to be at a fearful, respectful distance. You cannot tie Krishna. Can you tie? No, sorry, you cannot tie Vishnu. Can you take a rope and tie Narasimha? Can you do that?
No.
No.
You will be finished. But Krishna, Mother Yashoda did. Krishna is so sweet. He enjoyed that. Okay? He allows intimacy for his devotee. Therefore, it is considered the sweetest one. I'll discuss more on that. Okay? Because I know you little know, so I'm not opening now. It may take a lot of time. In brief, is it fine? It's the same personality. So don't bother. It doesn't matter. It's the same personality. It's a sweeter form. Just like a wife, there is husband as home and husband in office. In office, when you go to meet, you say father, and father is a judge. You have to be very formal with father, isn't it? My lord. Even though you're father, you have to say my lord, my lord. You have to say in the court. Correct? Isn't it? There's a lot of formality. But at home, you can sit on the back of your father as a small child and play. He doesn't mind. You know? At home is no awe and reverence. So Krishna is like God at home. He allows total intimacy. And Krishna also makes you forget he's God. Mother Yashoda doesn't know he's God. Otherwise, how she can chase him with a stick? You can't do that. He makes them forget so that they can enjoy very, very intimacy. Correct? Suppose you are a billionaire and all your friends are aware of that. They will not be your friends then. They will get scared of you. Okay? So Krishna, allowing intimacy with his topmost devotees, does this. Yes, Mataji, Anupur Mataji, continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Akrura continues to pray, my dear Lord, the whole world is filled with three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone within this material world is covered by these modes, from Lord Brahma down to the immovable plants and trees. My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because you are beyond the influence of three modes. Except for you, everyone is being carried away by the waves of these modes. My dear Lord, fire is your mouth, the earth is your feet, the sun is your eye, the sky is your navel, and the directions are your ears. Space is your head, the demigods are your arms, the oceans and the seas are your abdomen, and the winds and the air are your strength and vitality. All the plants and herbs in the are the hair on your body. The the clouds are your hair. The mountains are your bones and nails. The days and nights are the twinkling of your eyelids. Prajapati, the progenitor, is your genitals, and the rains are your samina.
Just
My
wait,
dear
just wait.
Lord,
Paragraph, if you go away, no, you will not understand. How many paragraphs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 paragraphs. 6 paragraphs means half an hour. Okay? Take 5 minutes basically to read. You know? Yeah, this is where we are. The whole world is filled with three modes of material nature. Okay, everybody is driven by the three modes: sattva, rajas, and tamas. So the three modes. See, it's there: goodness, passion, ignorance. They're driving us. Everybody is covered by the three modes, from Brahma down to the plants and trees. Everybody is touched. Correct? Nobody is independent. Our respect, because you are beyond the influence of the three modes. Except for you, everyone is carried away by the waves of the modes. Fire is your, okay? Everybody is, except for the Lord, everybody is in the grip of Maya. Krishna is controller of Maya. We are controlled by Maya. Okay? Every fire is your mouth, the earth is your foot, the sun is your eye, the sky is your navel, the direction are your ears, space is your head, the demigods are your arms. This is a kind of Vishnurupa description. Okay? Oh, so this is display power description of the Lord. Somebody is eating, who is eating? Huh? All the plant and herbs are the hairs on your body. The clouds are your hair, the mountains are the bones, the days and nights are the twinkling of the eyelids. Prajapati, the progenitor, is the genital, and rains are your semina. Think this is a Vishnurupa description of the Lord. Yeah, continue.
My dear Lord, all living entities, including different grades of demigods, different grades of overlords, kings, and other living entities, are supposed to be resting in you. As a part and parcel of the big unit, one cannot know you by experimental knowledge. One can simply understand your transcendental existence as the great ocean in which different grades of living entities are included, or as the fruit kadamba out of which small mosquitoes come. My dear Lord, whatever eternal forms and incarnations you accept and which appear in this world are meant for relieving the entities from their ignorance, illusion, and lamentation. All people, therefore, can appreciate the incarnations of past and past tense of your Lordship and eternally glorify your activities. No one can estimate how many forms and incarnations you have, nor can anyone estimate the number of universes that are existing within you.
Okay, just let us understand now. Demigod, different grade of overlords, kings, and other living entities, correctly see all of them are resting in you. Okay? Everything rests in Krishna. One cannot know you by experimental knowledge. Nobody can know you by that. Okay? One can understand the transcendental great ocean, different grades of living entity included. Okay. Whatever eternal forms and incarnation accept are meant for relieving entity from the ignorance. Okay? The Krishna takes various forms, and all these forms are, what are this nature of these forms? These forms are eternal. Okay? Okay. I muted everybody. Somebody is eating on the background. I could hear the spoon sound maybe. My dear Lord, whatever eternal forms you accept, which appear in this world, are meant for relieving the living entity from the ignorance. Correct? Krishna takes a form. I discussed this point last time. Krishna can solve a problem because he has no problem. You cannot solve anybody's problem unless you have problem. Correct? Suppose you have problem, you cannot solve anybody's problem. You'll be too focused on your own problem. Isn't it true? Krishna has no problem. Maya cannot touch him. He's always blissful. He acts only for compassion. Okay? It's just meant for relieving entity from ignorance, passion, lamentation. Okay? So people can appreciate their pastime, because pastime means it is out of mercy Krishna comes to this world to relieve us from ignorance, illusion, lamentation. No one can estimate how many forms incarnation you have, and you estimate the number of universes that are existing within you. We have no way to even estimate number of universes. So what we can understand. Yes. Yes, Mataji, continue.
Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the incarnation of the fish who appeared in devastation. Although your lordship is the cause of all causes, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Hayagriv.
Now he's offering to the Dashavataras. First is the fish, okay, and then he's listing different incarnations. Hayagriva, anybody knows what are the Hayagriva incarnation?
See,
Who knows?
Hayagriva horse incarnation.
Yes, and which was the Acharya and Madhva, great Acharya, who worshipped him?
What is Vadiraja?
Vadiraja, yes. Very, very, very
Yes.
nice. Okay? Okay, continue,
Yes.
Mataji.
Hayagriv incarnation who killed the two demons Madhu and Kaitabha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who appeared as the gigantic tortoise and held up the great mountain Mandara, and who appeared as the boar who rescued the earth planet which had fallen into the water of Garbhodaka. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto your lordship, who appeared as Narsimha Dev, who delivered all kinds of devotees from the fearful condition of atheistic atrocities. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who appeared as the Vaman Dev and covered the three words simply by expanding your lotus feet. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who appeared as the Lord of the Brigus in order to kill all the infidel administrators of the world. And let me also offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who appeared as Lord Rama to kill demons like Ravan. You are worshipped by all devotees as the chief of the Raghu dynasty, Lord Ramchandra. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto
Chalo. Now he's remembering the different pastimes of the Lord, and he knowing who is this personality in front of him. Correct? And then he's feeling reassured. Yeah, oh my God, my Lord, and you can do so many things. Okay? You fish incarnation, so you are very powerful. There's nothing to get scared for me that Kamsa can do anything to you. You see, you know, there's a Matsya avatar is remembering who came in the water, devotion and saved. Which of the devotee was saved? By fish incarnation. Anybody knows the name of the devotee?
Fish incarnation?
Whom he saved? Who is our Manu now? What was the name of the previous?
Manu.
Matsya
Present
Avtara.
Manu was in previous birth Satyavrata king.
Yes.
Correct?
Oh.
He was saved. Today he is Vaivasvata Manu. And Hayagriva, who killed the two demons, Madhu and Kaitaba. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Guiding the tortoise in Samudra Manthan, it held the great mountain. Okay?
Yes.
Boar, Varavatara, we saved the earth. And whom he killed at that time? Which was the demon killed?
Oh, what is that name? Hiranyaksha.
Very good, Hiranyaksha. ठीक है Narasimhadeva, and he killed, or whom he killed in Narasimhadeva?
Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyakashipu. And see, when you are talking like this, isn't he feeling assured? Nothing to worry. Oh, boy, he did this, he lifted earth. And Varadeva, Vamadeva, 2 steps into core universe. So, you know, he's feeling as a devotee, oh my Lord, nothing to worry. Okay? Bhrigus, and what is the worry for one Kamsa as Bhrigupati? That is, who is the personality who is very famous other than the name? What is the other name of Lord of Bhrigus?
Lord of the Brigus.
What is the Lord of the Bhrigu? Who? Yes. Parashuram, great.
Parshuram. Oh,
Yes. Okay. And Lord Rama, and he killed whom? Ravana.
Ram.
So what is for you this small Kamsa? Huh? So let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Continue, Mataji.
You who appeared as Lord Vasudev, Lord Shankarasan, Lord Pradyumna, and Lord Anirudh. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who appeared as Lord Buddha in order to bewilder the atheistic and the demoniac. And let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who appeared as Kalki in order to chastise the so-called royal order degraded to the abominable condition of the Mlichas, who are below the jurisdiction of Vedic regulative principles. My dear Lord, everyone
Okay,
within this
let us see. Vasudeva, Sankushana, Praduna, Aniruddha. Who are these? These are the 4 expansions of the Lord in the spiritual world. Okay? Krishna expands to Balaram, Balaram expands to Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and
Prabhuji,
Vasudeva.
Pradyumna and Aniruddha was
Oh no, that is separate issue.
son and grandson. Okay.
That is separate issue. They came in Krishna's family. That is separate issue. Okay? But originally they are situated in the spiritual world. Isn't it fine? Okay? These are 4 names. See, also somebody can have a name Pradyumna, may not be Supreme Lord. Okay? Just by name you don't become Supreme Lord. But it is true, Krishna's family, these people all appeared. Okay? Even Lord Rama said these 4 people, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. Correct? So Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrughan. No? Correct? You understand? Sometimes it is said they are these 4 personalities. Okay. Okay, and then it expands to Narayana, then again second set of Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Okay. Buddha, what did he do? He bewildered atheistic, demonic people. How did he bewilder? Anybody knows? Yes?
Stop killing the animals. He stopped killing the animals.
And how did he bewilder them? He didn't talk about God, but he is himself God. Correct? So they worship him without knowing what they are doing. Yes. If you go to Buddhist countries, they worship Buddha and they don't talk about God, but Buddha is Vishnu himself sitting there. So they indirectly worship Vishnu. He bewildered them because they are not ready. Atheists are not ready to worship God. They have no interest to worship God. Yes. So he said, follow one principle, don't give pain to other living entities. Ahimsa paramo dharma. And And he was a leader, so they worship him with agarbatti and all. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Chalo. Okay, that is Buddha. And then Kalki, you will appear, you appeared as Kalki to chastise so-called royal order degraded to the abominable condition. That happens at the end of Kali Yuga. Okay? Kalki
Who
will
is the
come.
Mlichas, Prabhuji?
Mlecha means Yavanas and Mlechas. These are the category of people who do not follow regular principles, who eat meat of the cow. These are called Yavanas,
Mm-hmm.
Mlechas. There are varieties of names. Exactly, we can see what is the meaning of Mlecha. Give me some time. Okay? By Yavana,
Okay.
Mlechas are referred to the people who do not, they are below Shudras. See, all the four categories are not by birth. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmana means who can totally control the senses called a Brahmana. Kshatriya control less. Vaishya controls still less. Shudra cannot control the senses. And Mlecha, Devana is still lesser than that, totally gone crazy. Correct? In Vedic culture, the respect is given by how much you can control the senses.
Mm.
In modern culture, respect is given by how much money you have. That's stupid culture. Because goal is sense gratification. Nobody worships money. Today, the goal is Vedic time, the goal of everybody was self-purification. Okay? So moment you see a person who's pure, you give him highest respect. That's a Brahmana. Isn't it? Krishna got up when Sudama entered his palace because he's following. He may not be rich, but that's not the goal of life. Goal of life is self-purification. So Sudama has practiced that. He is very pure. So Krishna gave him honor. Correct? He got up from his own bed, made him sit, and honored him. Narada came to the place of Krishna, palace of Krishna. Krishna got up from the seat and worshipped him to show the highest purity should be honored, isn't it? Because it's full control on the senses. Kshatriya control is less. Vaishya control is still less. Shudra is still less. Yavana, Mlecha, no control. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Now continue, Mataji, my dear Lord.
My dear Lord, everyone within this material world is conditioned by your illusionary energy. Under the impression of the false identification and false possession, everyone is transmigrating from one body to another in the path of fruitive activities and their reactions. My dear Lord, I am also no exception to these conditioned souls. I am falsely thinking myself happy in possessing my home, wife, children, state, property, and effects. In this way, I am acting as if in a dreamland because none of these are permanent. I am a
Just wait,
fool to
wait,
be
wait,
always.
wait a minute. Okay, everyone within this material world is conditioned under the impression of false identification, false position. Everyone is transferred to one body to another. Fruitive active in the reaction. My dear Lord, I am no exception to this condition. So, falsely thinking myself happy in possessing my home, wife, children, property, and others. I'm acting as if in a dreamland because none of these are permanent. Okay. So, what is saying the problem? Okay, you are so kind. And what is my condition now? Everybody is conditioned by the illusory energy. Okay? And we are under false identification. Correct? I'm a woman, he's a man, I'm an American, he's an Indian. These are all false identification. We are not body, we are soul. And with the false identification, you're traveling from birth after birth. Okay? And saying I'm not, previously speaks in general, everybody, correct? Everyone. Then he says, I'm not exception to these people, I'm also like that. And it's very true for us, isn't it so? Even though you're speaking so many things, I'm also under the condition. And we think ourselves happy in possessing home, wife, children, state, property, effects. In this way, I'm acting as if in a dreamland because none of these things are permanent. Are these things permanent? No. Our whole life, I'm trying to, Prahlad Maharaj says, trying to make permanent settlement in a temporary place. I'm a stupid man. And therefore, I'm always in anxiety. If you're trying to make a permanent settlement in temporary place, 100 back of the mind, everybody knows it's all going to go one day. Therefore, as much hard work it does, as much you show some kind of comfort. Reality, we know it's all going. Therefore, each person is in so much anxiety. Okay, continue, Mataji.
I am a fool to be always absorbed in such thoughts, accepting them as my permanent and truth. My dear Lord, due to my false identification, I have accepted everything which is non permanent, such as this material body which is not spiritual and is the source of all kinds of miserable conditions. Being bewildered by such concepts of life, I am always absorbed in thoughts of duality, and I have forgotten you who are the reservoir of all transcendental pleasure. I am barefoot of your transcendental association, and I'm just like a foolish creature who goes in search of water in the desert, leaving the water spot which is covered by water nourished vegetables. The conditioned souls who want to quench their thirst, but they do not know where to find water. They give up the spot where there is actually a reservoir of water and run into the desert where there is no water. My dear Lord, I am completely incapable of controlling my mind, which is now driven by unbridled senses and is attracted by fruitive activities and their results.
Okay, wait. Isn't this true for all of us?
Yes.
It's true for me. So this see what happens when acharyas speak like this. It is for us actually. They speak in humility. It's not that they speak artificially. They feel like that. Isn't it true to pray like this? We are so proud always, but how can you pray? Okay, I have accepted everything which is non-permanent, such a metal body, which is not spiritual source of all kind of miserable conditions. Bewildered by such concepts of life, always absorbed in thought of duality, of forgotten you who are the reservoir of transcendental pleasure. I'm bereft of the transcendental association, and just like a foolish creature is goes in search of water in the desert. What is that? I'm like a foolish creature who goes in search of water in the desert. Okay? Isn't it? There is no water in the desert, but foolishly people are searching, leaving the spot which is covered by water nourished vegetables. This is the Prahlad Maharaj says. It says that hitvat patam griha andakupam. We give up the place of spiritual culture and we jump into a blind well. Okay? Water spot which covered by water nourished. Okay, leaving as okay, want to quench their thirst, we don't know where to find water. They give the spot to actually reserve the water and run into a desert where there is no water. My dear Lord, I am completely controlling a mind which is not driven by unbridled sense and attracted by the fruity act means some profit, some silly profit for myself. And there is a, my dear Lord, your lotus feet.
My dear Lord, you want me to continue? Your lotus feet cannot be appreciated by any person in the conditional stage of material existence, but somehow or other I have come near your lotus feet, and I consider this to be your causeless mercy upon me. You can act in any way because you are the supreme controller. I can thus understand that when a person becomes eligible to be delivered from the path of repeated birth and death, it is only by your causeless mercy that he further progresses to become attached to your causeless devotional service.
Yeah, just wait. The lotus feet cannot be appreciated any person in the conditioned state of material existence. Today we were discussing this with this very nice point in the Gita class. Correct? Unless we are pure, Murti Mataji, try to understand this very nice point. Who is there? Prem is there, Murti is there, Nidhi is there, Sunita Mataji is there. See, the very, very important point. Point is this. The Gita says, unless you are pure, you cannot surrender to Krishna. Gesham tu andagatam papam, jananam punyakarmanam, then only you can surrender. And the last shloka instruction of Gita says, when you surrender to me, you will become pure. Isn't it a jigsaw puzzle? When you surrender, you become pure. Unless you are pure, you cannot surrender. You're stuck, no? Now, I cannot surrender to Krishna because I'm not pure. And how to become pure? You have to surrender. How do I surrender? Because I'm not pure. You catch 22. Take
Yes,
it? Everybody got this? Catch 22?
Yes.
Unless you surrender, you cannot become pure. And unless you are pure, you cannot surrender. The two shlokas which catch like that. The solution I found out today, Prabhupada actually tells it, I'm not finding out. Prabhupada tells in the lecture. There is a shloka which says that, the shloka says that, today we discussed, Chaturvida bhajante mam janana sukritana arjuna, artho artharthi jigyasu gyani cha bharatashva. I say 4 kind of people come to offer service to me. They are pious, but they're not pure devotees. They still have some desire. Artho artharthi jigyasu gyani. They have some desire with them. But still, I accept it. So Prabhupada therefore says in the purport of the 18th chapter last shloka that if you surrender, only when you surrender you become pure. So Prabhupada says you cannot surrender because you're not pure. Correct?
Yes.
Begin the process of surrender. Begin. How do you begin? Only you can do that when you are a little pious. You cannot do, impious cannot do that. Because you are pious, you can begin the process of surrender. You got it? You begin the process of surrender. Somehow you begin the process of surrender. Okay, so that's very, very nice. So this is what he's telling here in the same shloka, that I cannot understand your lotus feet. What is he saying? My dear Lord, your lotus feet cannot be
Understood.
appreciated by any person in the conditioned state of material existence. If you are in the conditioned state of material existence, we cannot understand your lotus feet. But I'm able to understand. It's your causeless bliss. It's like today, we're getting some pleasure from Kirtan. Actually, it's Krishna's kind. We are not eligible for it. We are not eligible. Even Bhagavata, we are reading Bhagavatam now. None of us are eligible to even sit in this discussion. None of us, including me. Because Bhagavatam says it's only for Paramahamsa. It's a Paramahamsa's book. Are we Paramahamsas? None of us. We're all conditioned. Correct? But we are given an opportunity. Just like somebody is holding a class. Okay? And you're not qualified to enter the class because, say any college, what will the part say? You have to be at least a graduate. Okay? You should have done 12th class. Okay? And we are the nursery student and we come. It's okay, sit down. He's very kind. Sit down. So when you're seeing, it's good, very nice, very nice. So we get an opportunity. It's always just like in a temple. Doors are always open. We don't say you cannot come in. Anybody, please come in. When you're taking class, this person may not be able to understand. It's new, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he has some piety, he will understand. They're trying to glorify the Lord. Okay, na? Okay. Artho arthati jigyasu jnani. He may have a desire of artho arthati jigyasu jnani. To finish tomorrow. Very, very nice. So this is understood. So he says, I have no qualification. Somehow I have come near lotus feet. Why somehow? Mercy of Krishna.
Mercy.
Doesn't matter. Just like I give you an example. Try to, you will understand it this way. Suppose you are cooking for Krishna. Okay? Okay? Do you know to make chapati properly? Perhaps most of us don't know. Okay? Okay? Still you make. Sometimes you are in emergency, you have to do something. You do. And then you go to offer to the Lord. What do you say? My Lord, you're Lakshmipati. Lakshmis are cooking for you. I don't know anything. Somehow I made something and I don't even have a devotion. Please accept it. But will Krishna accept or reject? He'll accept, no, because of kindness. Okay. If you're genuine, he'll accept. Okay, I'll help you. It's true. Both things are true. You don't have total devotion when you're offering. You're not offering. Do we offer you love? Just like a small child we give a lot of love, we give anything. But Krishna, we go, do we have that love? We don't have that love. We just keep it ritually and our mind is in so many things. I have to close that oven. I have to do this. I have to do this. And my Lord, Ghanta is going on chanting mantra. No love in the heart. Is it? That's how we do our japa. That's how we do the offering. But Krishna accepts because out of love for us. Okay, good. Just like a child at home is struggling to relate with the father. He's struggling. Take any situation. He's struggling because of some reason he's struggling. Okay? Sometimes children become upset for no small reason. Correct? He's not able to relate to you. He comes running to you. Still he's holding a toffee in his hand. And he's not very devoted to you. He's very disturbed. What do? Still you accept it. Thank you very much. You try to, because for his own good, you are trying to making him relate to you. So Krishna, for our own good, knows it is good for him. And Prabhupada says very nicely, we read recently, Prabhupada says that our relationship is eternal, my dear sir. How can you break it? It's eternal. You cannot break this relationship. What are you trying to do? Nonsense, Prabhupada says. You cannot break this relationship. So eternally we are related to the Lord. There is no way we can break this relationship. And Krishna therefore keeps tries on his part. And even if you offer service, therefore, actually, I analyze this point. We do not know how to love. To love is a very big thing. It's a very big thing to love. You understand? We don't know. We only lust. We only take advantage of the person. Krishna knows how to love. He's all love. He's love personified. So when you go to Krishna to offer him something, he knows this of serving is not with pure love. It is contaminated. But for our own good, out of his mercy, he accepts it. Okay, give me. He takes. It teaches us gradually how to love. We don't know how to love. We many times complain, no, people don't love me. It is you first the problem. You don't get what you don't give. You cannot love people. We only do people like this. Just today only I heard somebody was telling me, lady, what is this my nonsense husband? Doesn't do anything, simply lies. Actually, everybody, you cannot take anybody for granted. Correct? They are watching you. You are finding fault with them. They are finding fault with you. You're not doing anything. So this is very neatly understood that if we don't have, we don't know how to love. So if you want to love first person, you don't know how to love. Okay? We don't have love. We only have lust in our heart. We only try to take advantage of the people. We don't want to do good to anybody. That's a fact. But Krishna is love. Love means to benefit other person. Lust means to take benefit of other person. Correct? That's the difference. So when you approach Krishna, Krishna teaches us how to love. So if you want to know how to love, go to Krishna first, who is love personified. He'll teach you how to love. Okay? Slowly. And then our loving relation to Krishna develops. Then through Krishna, we are related to the world. We directly don't have any relation to anybody. Just like now, you see how nice it is. We are discussing Krishna book together. We are developing through Krishna a relationship to each other, isn't it? Through Krishna, not directly. We're not calling each other, hey, how are you? You eaten food, you taken rest, you're fine. We're not doing that. That's what people do. Correct? And the relationships are very shallow and cheap. Correct? Meaningless. One day you speak something harsh, so you should not have done. Why did you say like that? Over relationship broken. ऐसा ही होता है ना?
Yeah.
पूरा जिंदगी relationship बनाओ. One day you say something harsh, over. That person will not see you rest of the life. It only was, like a monkey scratching each other's backs. But what we are trying to do is actually trying to relate to Krishna, who is all love. And through Krishna, we relate to the world. In that, what happens, even if somebody was telling me today that that person tried to take care of somebody, was preaching, and suddenly the person started shouting. I became very disturbed. I said, no, because you try to relate directly. Don't do directly. Always through Krishna. Be detached. Isn't it possible? It happens sometimes. Take us, so always they should detach, and through Krishna we relate. Then even if your child is there, suppose your child has started shouting at you, you still look at him out of duty. Otherwise, you are taking care of the child because you get some kind of gratification. He says, Mama, I'm getting some, I'm given shelter to a jiva and I am that ahankara. As children, we know that. Tell your parent, I will not obey you. Watch their face. They become wild. They can't stand it. So they have some rasa they're drinking. That, I have a jiva at my shelter. That is the rasa. But when you're doing through Krishna, even if child is shouting, you're not disturbed at all. You're not disturbed because you're doing only a duty. Okay? You're getting this, Murthy Mataji? You understand?
Yes.
You appreciate when you're directly dealing, there is some kind of, because in this world, the highest relationship mothers, highest, no doubt. Okay? But there is some kind of gratification with that. My son should obey me. He's not listening to me. Mothers get very disturbed. Why are you getting disturbed? Because there is some gratification, no? The jiva is under my shelter. And I feel very happy. Mama, I want food. Okay, I will feed you. That's, like a Ishwar Bhava. But when the child grows up and child stops listening to you, he comes out of your shelter, we become so wild. But if you're looking at the child through Krishna, as Krishna's child, and I have a duty to take care of the child, then your love will be intense like Krishna's love. Even if the child is upset or behaving in a strange ways, you will always be merciful to the child. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay? And same vice versa. Same way, children also take care of the parent in the same way. Sometimes parents shout at us. We don't get disturbed. That's my duty. I should pray. And my main thing is, I wish they become very nice devotees. Yes. Okay, I hope I didn't take your time. Because when a person becomes eligible to deliver from the path repeated, it's by only causeless mercy. Okay, yes. Continue. Okay, I'll not interrupt now. Yeah.
Akrura fell down before the Lord and said, My dear Lord, your transcendental eternal form is full of knowledge. Simply by concentrating one's mind upon your form, one can understand in full knowledge everything that be, because you are the original source of all knowledge. You are the supreme powerful, possessing all kinds of energies. You are the supreme Brahman, and you are the supreme person, supreme controller and master of the material energies. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Okay. Okay, this understood what he's saying, the prayer. Understand this because his prayers are full of knowledge. He's not flattering, he's speaking truth. Okay? You are the original source of all knowledge. Therefore, if you understand Krishna, you understand all knowledge. He is the knowledge personified. You are the original source of all knowledge. Just like in mathematics, if you know basics, you can solve any problem, isn't it? If you know the fundamental that Krishna is the origin of all knowledge, and you know Krishna, you have all the knowledge with you. You're supreme powerful. You have all kind of energies. You're supreme Brahman, the supreme controller. You're master of the metal energies. Correct? All things are true. He's not so flattering. These are all facts. Continue. I offer a respectful obeisance unto you.
Unto you, because you are Vasudev, the resting place of all creation. You are the all pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are also the Supreme Soul residing in everyone's heart and giving direction to act. Now, my Lord, I am completely surrendered unto you. Please give me your protection. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 39th chapter of Krishna, Prayers by Akrura.
So nice, no? Akrura is such a great devotee. You see, he's not just a devotee. So Prabhupada says devotee means he has all knowledge. He's not a fool. Akrura is not a fool. He's not just in some illusion. Every line he's speaking is facts. Therefore, Vedavyasa is recording in Bhagavatam, which is coming in this Krishna book, correct? Every line he's speaking is facts. So Prabhupada says they repeat the prayers of the great acharyas. Okay? Supreme Soul is in every heart, giving direction. I'm completely surrendered. Please give me your protection. Okay? He's asking, give me your protection. So this is very nice. He's totally surrendering. This is a prayer of surrender. Sometimes what happens, I've seen people read Krishna book, they jump all these prayers. These are the main things. These are stories for small children, you know. What is there? Everybody knows the story. This is the thing which we learn. If you hear these prayers, you also start praying. You also start praying. When you repeat these prayers, you see such a great acharya. He's praying in such a humble manner. What am I? So when you read these prayers, by mistake at least, one prayer you also say, you feel something. I'm completely surrendered to you. And Krishna is so happy. Just like a child goes to mother, small child, and he bows down. Okay, mother, I surrender to you. Won't mother pick up the child and embrace? Isn't it? Correct? Even though the attempt is feeble, Krishna lifts us. Moment we have even a slightest attempt, Krishna takes 10 steps. You have to take one step. We are Krishna's servant. So when you hear the prayer of the great Acharya, you see now how much grateful we have to feel to Prabhupada for giving us access to all this. We're getting access to the prayers of great Acharya. We hear, we also feel, yes, let me also become a devotee. Okay, that is very nice. Yes, Murti Mataji, anything here? Let us see this paragraph. Your transcendental eternal form is full of knowledge simply by concentrating a mind upon you. Okay?
Yes.
Krishna's forms are transcendental and eternal. Okay? It is not that they are made of matter. Krishna's forms are spiritual. Okay? The present Atma's forms are the spiritual. But presently, our forms are covered by two layers. Layer of subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, and the gross body. It is covered. Original form is covered. But Krishna's form is not different. It is same. Not soul. Whole body is spiritual. Okay? In spiritual world, we also have totally spiritual body. But whatever it is, we are always insignificant servants of the Lord. Anu Vibhu. You never become equal to the Lord. You're like a photon. Krishna is like the sun. There is no comparison. Because you can know that. How do you know that? You are no comparison to the Lord. Okay, tell me. Nupur Mataji, Murti Mataji, how do you say, Nidhi, we cannot compare ourselves to the Lord? What way you can be convinced you are very small in front of the Lord?
Because we are the separated fragmental portions of the Supreme Person. We are just a small super soul.
No, what way you can get the realization that actually you are very small compared to the Lord? What way? Is there any darshana by which you can say, convince I'm very small in front of the Lord?
We are Jivatma is.
Huh? Yes.
We are
not humble.
Nidhi, what do you say?
We are not humble like him.
Okay. Yes, Sunita Mataji, how are you convinced that we are very small compared to the Lord?
We cannot even we cannot control birth and death. We are just
We have no control. Yeah. We are becoming old. We are dying. We know we are insignificant. Yes. Yeah. Then Maya is harassing us. Can't you see that?
Yeah.
You are liberated. I don't know. So we can every moment we can see. Prabhupada says every moment I've been slapped, and we are saying I'm independent. Suppose you're sitting in a chair. Somebody sits in front of you and is giving you slap after slap. And you say, I'm independent. What kind of joke is this here? So continuously Maya is making a fool out of us. We know it is wrong, and we are again and again, mind is running after that. We can see what kind of fool I am. Maya is just blowing me. I cannot be even away from small influence of Maya. What kind of God I am? I am kicked by Maya. And what are the three kinds of suffering we are suffering constantly? Yes, Murti Mataji, what are three kinds of suffering?
Suffering Adi Bhautika, Adi Adhyatmika, Adi Devika.
What is the meaning?
See, Adi Adhyatmika means, see, I told that the Prabhu
Explain again. Very nice explain. Adhyatmika
means suffering within our body and mind.
very good. Then
Adi Bhautika means within this material world, like mosquitoes,
yeah. Then
like
Adi Devika
things. And Devika means from demigods,
from the Devatas.
praying too much of heat.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I remember what happened. I was in Juhu temple today.
Okay.
And yesterday night, my classmates had come to meet me,
Yeah.
and we were in Govindas there. Every night I got a feast in Govindas. Some classmates landed up and they feasted me every. Then what happened? It became very, very late. So then I came to my room. I slept maybe 11:30, 12. Morning, I went for Mangalarti. But then after Mangalarti was over, I thought, let me take a little nap. Okay?
Okay.
So I came and we were staying in a dormitory. And I was the only person entering. And definitely the dormitory means some mosquitoes will be there. And I was the only item, food for them. All attacked me. 1 minute I could not sleep. Then I got up, took bath, and went. As they met me that this is not sanctioned here. The mosquitoes are saying, idiot, you should be chanting. You're sitting here. I covered whatever. I covered one sheet, another sheet. They somehow entered and they were biting me. Because you understand, in a big hall, you became a bakara. All the mosquitoes around. So this can happen. Can happen. Okay. So this is called Adi Bhautika. What kind of kleshas? Adi Bhautika, other living. And then Adi Devika will come now, rain in Mangalore, 4 months continuous, on non-stop rain.
Yes.
If that kind of rain comes in, you remember Nupur Mataji, that rains?
Yes, of course, Prabhuji.
I know daily, if you have that rain one day, it will be a holiday declared. 100%.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Just
So we
2 days I had heavy
Huh?
rains in Bangalore due to that this thing, depression rains. Very, very heavy rain.
Oh,
We had it-
recently? Just recently. Okay. Okay. Then it will come here also. Clouds will come. But anyway, the point is that these three kind of things we are suffering constantly. All the three we are suffering. All of us are in anxiety. All of us are having some bodily inconvenience. All of us are having somebody who's harassing us, who's envious of us, jealous of us, including mosquitoes. And we always have nature, which is so much sometimes uncomfortable. Correct? But in spite of all this, I say I am great. Arey Baba, what kind of great person are you? You are being kicked by Maya. What kind of great person are you? We are not. Isn't it fine? Okay, so we can know. So we are controlled by Maya, and Krishna is a controller of Maya. There is a big gap, two-step gap. Maya is in between. She's controlling us. Okay, na? She's forcing, like Nupur says, she's forcing you to become old. You cannot say, I'll not become old. You have to become old. You have to die. You are forced. You are forced to eat. You are forced to sleep. You cannot say from tomorrow no eating. Let us see. Correct? So in the material body, all these things are part and parcel. But soul, interesting thing is, soul has no hunger. Soul does not need sleep. So those who are liberated personalities who come to spiritual platform, they cease to have hunger and sleep. They sleep very little. Like Prabhupada used to sleep 2 hours, sometimes not even that. Because they are totally on a spiritual platform. You understand? When you come totally on the spiritual platform, the material demands vaporize. Okay? Eating, sleeping, other mating, defending, they don't do. Even eating, sleeping becomes very minimal for them. Okay? Because the total spiritual, because soul is always fresh. When you're on a bodily platform, you keep feeling tired whole day. Correct? When the spiritual platform, you're fresh whole day. Correct? Isn't it? Sometimes you have good discussion on Sunday night, you go to take rest, you cannot take rest. You're fresh. You don't get sleep only, you're fresh, isn't it?
Yes.
You chant Hare
True, Prabhuji.
Krishna nicely,
Yes.
you lie down, you feel like you're in the spirit. Yeah, you're walking in the spiritual world. You're so fresh, so happy. So actually,
Even after listening to this class, I feel happy, like for some time at least. Then again, you start working, going to work, and all that in the week.
no, what we should
Brings
do,
you down.
yeah, we make it regular, more regular. We make, okay? Daily, we also read,
Yes.
we mark, we read. We develop a gradual habit. This what happened. What we are doing now is Krishna's grace is that we are a set of devotees who have some respect for each other. At least we have no offenses for. We love each other, Anna. We have affection for each other. Therefore, we are able to enjoy this together. Okay. Bodhesas parasparam. Krishna can only be relished in association of devotees. Otherwise, there is no pleasure. Okay? In fact, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what happened, I tell you the secret of this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he used to, in the beginning, started Harinam in the, because we have some 6 minutes more, correct? 10:30 is our time, no? So what happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing Harinam in the house of Shivas Thakur. Okay? In the beginning, he used to lock the door. You're not allowing anybody. And various reasons are given. One of the reasons is that they were not dancing, they were flying. Ordinary conditions, so faint to see that. With the energy Lord Chaitanya Nityananda, oh wow, it was like massive kirtans, They will have for 72 hours sometime at a time. So they will lock the door and not allow anybody to come in. So one day one person came, came to Shiva, said that, see, I am a Shuddha Brahmin. I only live on milk of the cow. You allow me to come in. He said, no, it's not allowed. He begged. And finally he said, you put me inside some box. So the Lord does not know. Correct? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started Kirtan. Then he said, today I'm not able to register Kirtan. There's some crazy person here. And he revealed that person. And then he went. And then he was very humble and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed him. He became a devotee. Then he could enjoy. You understand? So in an atmosphere of devotees, these things are relished. Just like drunkards, they all relish together because they're all drunkards. Even one person is there. In fact, I used to be like that in the college. Somehow, by grace of my parents, I never drank. Because they taught me this, don't drink. Okay? I didn't drink. And grace of Krishna, definitely. So in my college, when my friends used to take me to parties, I was like an idiot I used to spoil their whole fun. I used to looking at each other. Hey, kisko kaha bula diya tu yaar? Ye kya? And I used to be looking out because for me they're all idiots, drinking and vomiting and all. And I used to take some namkeen, sit in a corner, but they used to find me totally disturbance to their fun. True? You understand? So negatively also it is true. Similarly, if you are relishing Krishna consciousness, yes, everybody is a devotee. Then it is very, very, very relishable. I remember once what happened, that we had shortage of devotees. We are selling books in the book counter in Bangalore, correct? So they sent one accountant to help me, okay? Counting my money and all. That's a temple accountant. So he used to be sitting there. I could not preach only because he is listening and I know he's a non-devotee and I'm preaching to people, he will be laughing inside. You understand? Just like you're talking to your friend. If you have put an outsider there, can you now talk to your friend? You cannot talk to your friend. Correct? Yeah. So in that way, actually, by Krishna's grace, because we are all devotees, we are relishing. And this is relishing. Well, even though we are not qualified, we are still relishing because of mercy of Krishna. So Akrura's prayer, what do you get lesson from today? Chalo, let us do the last round. 3 minutes more. Nupur Mataji, what do you learn today? An important thing, which is very unique.
I'm still thinking. This prayer basically just shows that we are very insignificant and we cannot do anything without the Lord's mercy. If He wants, we can do anything.
Correct.
We are
Very
not very
nice.
independent.
And then what? He remembered different incarnations of the Lord. Lord, you came as a fish incarnation, you came as Parashuram, you came as so many incarnations. And we said, why is he doing that? So if he's, what is there for? If he can lift an earth, what is this comes up for you? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. There's one point. Yes, Murti Mataji, any other point from the class today?
See, he is the absolute truth.
Huh.
And uncomparable. No one is equal to him or above him.
Okay, perfect. You remember? Continue, Mataji.
Yes.
Okay. So this was the point I told today. If the office of the main man is open and the Devata also has to take the file to the Supreme Lord, what is the need to worship the Devatas? Isn't it fine? Common sense?
Yes, straight away you should go to the Supreme Personality of Lord Godhead. Whatever may be your reason, there is no need to go to any demigods.
That makes sense.
Yes.
There is no need to go to any Devatas because finally Krishna has to sign the file.
Yes.
But when you take from the Devatas, there is no protection. When Krishna gives, he gives you protection. It's better to take from Krishna.
Yes, yes.
And sometimes Devata worship, it doesn't reach the Supreme Lord, is of no use. Okay? Worship Devi gods may not reach you. There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee. Those who are worshipping Devi Devata, they may not reach to this worship of the Supreme Lord. It all depends, Prabhupada says, on the strength of their worship, how sincerely they're doing it. Can I?
But Prabhu, just one more thing.
Uh-huh.
The demigods, they also they give benedictions which are temporary, but they still, like Ashutosh, Lord Shiva, he grants everything, isn't it?
Yeah. But devotees don't ask, they ask Vishnu because he will grant, may not be good for you.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
that's
because
it.
they grant, don't run. Devotees, they depend only on mercy of Krishna. They don't
Yes.
ask for it. Okay?
Yes.
Because
Okay.
Krishna sees he's not depending upon me. I will have taken good care of him. He's running here and there. Okay, now at your own risk, take. I'll give you, take now. But it may not be good for you. You may harm yourself. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, this is very fine. Okay, so karmis, jnanis, different kind of people come. Okay, devatas are also covered by the influence of material energy and do not exactly know your transcendental existence. Because covered by Maya, even devatas cannot understand the law. Okay, done. Thank you very much today. Now, what is the chapter next time? What will happen now? 40th chapter. Krishna enters Mathura.
Yes, but
Yeah, and a lot of demons are going to die, and the end comes. Okay. So chapter 48 is next time.
Yes.
Okay, so we will meet on Tuesday with Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thursday we will meet with Bhagavad Gita. Saturday we will meet with Bhagavatam. So you're all welcome. One more is starting now on Thursday morning 5:30. Bhagavatam again. This is
5:30.
because this is Payal Mataji, if you remember, she requested because for her in Australia time fits. So Payal Mataji, Rekha Mataji, some people are joining in that. So you're all
Payal Mataji is joining us.
yeah.
Okay.
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 Okay. So anybody is welcome. Hare Krishna, Namur Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.